$500.
Oh yeah. That is a cool painting. As a recent graduate, I've heard about the GNSI, but I didn't know exactly what it was. I knew the GNSI had conferences, but I wasn't sure how the conferences were like, and there wasn't really much detail online that I could find. But thanks to the Dean Beekler Award, I was able to go. It is currently 2:58 a.m. We are locked in, ready to go. The Guild of Scientific Illustrators is a nonprofit organization that serves professionals in the field of visual science communication who increase science literacy through artistic channels. To simplify, what this really means is individuals who are interested in combining science and art in order to educate is welcome. And the whole point of the guild is to create a community. So I arrived at the conference on Sunday, and that Sunday night they had a portfolio night, which I was really excited about because I really wanted to see a professional portfolio in 2025. And there was just so much. There was just so much different art styles, different mediums. It was just awesome to see. I was able to bring my portfolio to the portfolio night, and at first I was really nervous. I didn't really want to show it, but one of the people there, they were basically telling me, oh, don't be shy, show your portfolio, like let everybody see. And she was really kind. Her name was Frances. So yeah, I showed them my portfolio and things went well. A lot of people liked it. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday were the core conferences. So that's where they had core speakers at the beginning of the day, and then they had session rooms. Monday was technically the first official day where they had the announcements, and then they had their first guest speaker, which was Barrett Klein, and he's really, really cool. He basically sculpts insects, and like there was a case full of all these different insects, and you had to figure out which one was his fake insect and which one was real. The core speakers were all really incredible. You got to see a lot of different mediums and different interests. As I mentioned earlier, the GNSI had session rooms, so essentially there'll be 3 different rooms going on at the same time, and you basically get to pick which room you want to go to. A big one was the AI session. As you know, we are illustrators, and AI, we have to address the elephant in the room that AI has been taking over. It was a really good session to be in because Jordan Jefferson, the speaker of the session, she was basically explaining how AI is not really a new concept, that we've always had AI to some capacity. Alexa is an AI, Siri is also a form of AI. The concept of AI, artificial intelligence, isn't new either. Frankenstein monster is technically artificial intelligent as well. So the concept of AI isn't new, but the real topic and the real debate is on generative AI. Jordan Jefferson was explaining how tricky AI is in terms of legality, especially with copyright and freer use. Overall, after that talk, it made me more informed about AI. The talk wasn't depressing. It didn't feel like doom. It was just like, oh, by the way, we should talk about this because this is a very relevant thing. It was really cool to see what it means for us as illustrators, what it means about copyright, and it really just reinforced the fact that like you should have your copyright on everything, like literally everything, so at the end of the day you're protected at all times. So it was a really good talk.
You know, you mentioned Rockwell's and famous well-known works, and that would be maybe now a more common response that this is copyrighted. But in a lot of our creation tools, we can put in the metadata that this is copyrighted by me.
Yep.
And so are these AI, I mean, obviously those AI tools can read that metadata. Is that now becoming a prompt response because of that metadata encoded in our work?
Quite possibly, depending on how the data is disambiguated, right? So the whole thing is supposed to be anonymous.
Part of the engine.
Right.
Yeah.
So the data is supposed to be anonymized. Whether or not that actually happens, and you can actually look and ask, do you have any of my things? Can you show it to me? You can opt out as well.
Another really interesting session that I was able to attend was indigenizing science communication through art. The speaker was Mallory Kataki, and essentially she makes medical illustrations cater to indigenous people, specifically the Zuni tribe. Her work was very inspiring for me personally because a big reason why I wanted to become a scientific and medical illustrator was because of the long history that institutions have against minorities. Her presentation was very impactful to me because it was really cool to see another person in the field that was catering their artwork to help alleviate a very serious issue that impacts marginalized communities. Those were just a couple of the sessions at the GNSI, but they all were incredible. I got to see Michael Asherchan talk on Ex Vivo and his animations. I also got to see Victorious Fuller's presentation, and that one was so interesting to see, especially because at Iowa State, a lot of our courses focus on traditional media and digital media, but not really fine arts. Like you don't typically, like when I was an undergrad, I wasn't really thinking about fine arts and like fine arts in relation to science. And Victoria Fuller just like blew my mind. Her sculptures are just so cool, and like they're all unique, and they all talk about different aspects of nature. Aside from the sessions and the main speakers, there were also an exhibit, which you got to see even more artwork, which I love to see. There was also a really fun auction, because it was the first time I've ever witnessed that auction before, and I even won some stuff. And there was an open studio where you got to see various different mediums. When I say various different mediums, there was like mediums that I never even knew about. And then the big shebang, there was a banquet, lots of food, everybody was dressed all nice, there was awards. It was really cool. That was essentially the core of the conference. After that, they still had more activities, but I only stayed for one more day, and I went whale watching for the first time, which was so cool to see.
Whoa.
It snorted at it.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say is that the conference was a great way to meet so many different people. I went to the conference with my friends from BPMI.
We have a wide range.
It was great that they came because like we made a lot of jokes, we had a lot of fun, we went bowling. But with that being said, everybody at the conference was super friendly. I was able to talk to a lot of different people.
Hi, my name is Mallory Kwiatkowski. I'm from Zuni Pueblo, and I'm an artist and science communicator.
Hey, Mike Astrachan, president and founder of Ex Vivo.
I'm Fiona Martin, a graphic artist at the Seattle Times.
Hi, I'm Tina Litwack, and I've been a science illustrator since 1983, and I'm a board certified medical illustrator too.
Hello, my name is Ikumi Kayama. I'm a medical and scientific illustrator, and I run a business, Studio Kayama LLC.
Like, there was a lot of people that I ended up talking to all the way up to like 2 a.m. and then we're like, oh, we have to wake up at 7 the next day. So like, it was a very enjoyable time meeting people. And because I met so many people, I got to ask a lot of questions.
Hello, I'm Victoria Fuller, and you have some questions for me.
Yeah. What does communicating science through art personally mean to you?
It is me demonstrating being a good relative, I think. I'm a little older, so I'm at the age where I need to start teaching both my culture, my language, even things I learn in school, college. I'm always telling my kids and younger people what I've learned and what I've seen. And I feel that the communities I work with have a lot of environmental injustices happening to them. And to me, when we talk about, we need to make pamphlets and educational materials in their language, our language can't describe all these real technical, heavy scientific words. There are no words for that. But there are words for what we see in nature and in the environment. And so I take that knowledge to help describe these really rigid science words, so that the community is better informed, so they can ask questions, so they can start thinking of, ways to protect the environment and to take part in research. Especially, I want more Indigenous students in research in both medicine, environmental science, environmental health. But, we got to get them started early and understanding. And to me, that's like a really big part of me being a good relative, giving back.
So there's like a word information and there's word communication. And I feel like they sound and feel almost the same, but information is a little bit more static to me. So it's like a fact. It doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't really mean anything to somebody else. But when it comes to communication, there's a set target audience or set person who will receive the information and understand, digest it, and make it applicable to them. So using art is a really good way to communicate science, because to me, as a person that speaks more than one language, an illustration is a powerful way to communicate ideas instantly, even though you don't speak the same language, have the same background. Oh, that's a good one.
So art and science are all about observation. That's what they have in common. And art is just a way to communicate in a universal visual language the complexities of science and make them understandable and adequate.
So to create science through art, for me, it kind of means the world. I mean, it's what I've been doing for the past 25 years. It gives me a chance to learn about science while doing the art. I love having art be in service of something, and art in service of science and science literacy is massive. If you can create something that inspires people to to follow a career in science, or inspires them to learn more about the inner workings of their own body, I think that's pretty powerful, and that's what really jazzes me about what I do.
I grew up on a farm, and I was surrounded by nature, and I used to just study little organisms swimming in a pool in a rock after it rained, or the gall on a leaf, or the birds. I would just observe nature. And then I also loved the illustrations in biology books, and going to the Natural History Museum and seeing the displays. And so when I found out that there was an occupation of a natural history illustrator, I started taking courses. And anyway, my art now, my fine art that I make, relates to nature and science. It's just a subject that I love.
I'm not sure means is a good description. It is a really, really important tool to make people help people understand. And I think that it's really important that humans understand the world. And to understand the world, you have to understand science. Otherwise, you're just making it up, or you're listening to some sort of dogma or rumors. And the only way to really understand the world for real is to understand some science. You know, if you don't know why you caught a cold, if you don't believe in germ theory, I mean, if you don't believe in gravity, you are still going to fall down. You can call it what you want, but it is called gravity, and there are principles behind it, and science has investigated it. It's not a mystery anymore. So being able to help people understand is the meaningfulness of it for me.
Thank you. Thank you.
There was also questions that students in SciViz had that I was able to ask as well.
So, as a person who does both medical and scientific, why may one choose scientific over medical?
Well, I think it's kind of more fun, because I'm interested in the varied wonders of the world, and the biology of that really interests me. I enjoy medical illustration because I'm fascinated with, the biological processes in the human body. Most of the medical work I did was not strictly anatomy or surgical. I was working for lawyers. So I was working on the behalf of people who've been injured in one way or another, and they needed to explain those sort of things to the juries. Whereas with the science illustration, I really care about biodiversity. I was illustrating a species. I have 2 species of mosquitoes named after me. So, it's been really fun, and habitats and life cycles, and it floats my boat more.
So, as a person who does both scientific and medical illustration, why choose both?
Yes, so I really like to learn new things and do research and talk to the experts. So I just like to do both. I like to talk to medical professions and also the scientific ones, just to kind of keep my mind fresh and keep learning new things. And my 2 favorite things are brain surgeries and birds.
What advice would you give young professionals in the field?
Just keep doing really good work, create a portfolio, and I would say go to GNSI conferences because you learn so much, take workshops, and there's really great advice, career advice at the conference, and becoming a GNSI member, there's a lot of support. It's really great.
Okay, that's a great question. So this is a kind of a scary time, but also a very exciting time because there's a lot of things that are changing. So a lot of doors may be closing, but that means a lot of doors may also be opening. So it's really good to keep an open mind, just keep your ears open and eyes open to look for new opportunities that will where you can use your specialized knowledge and abilities to communicate science effectively.
I run into burnout quite often as a graphic artist. We are on very fast production cycles. Some of the ways that I deal with that are taking lots of breaks. Every hour I'll get up and stretch. Sometimes I forget, have to remind myself with an app. I also like to do yoga or a good swim workout. Makes all the difference so that you're not sitting at your desk too long.
So, yeah. Thank you again to the SciViz board for allowing me to go to the GNSI conference. This whole experience is very memorable. I'm so glad that I got to go and experience so much. I strongly recommend you guys become a guild member at the GNSI or go to a GNSI conference at least once. Every other year, it's in person. But yeah, thank you for watching. And cut.
Okay, so Bethany had contraband, so it had to be dumped. I had to be patted down, so we both are little criminals. Ooh, action shot.